Hello everybody, my name is Dilian Manolov and I'm a blind entrepreneur, PhD in psychology, and I'm a consultant in businesses and NGO spaces. And in this video I would like to speak with you about something that we mentioned the last week. In fact, we did an entire episode. It's going to be at the end of this video, and if you'd like, please you can watch the other video first so that you can know what we are talking about at the end of this video. So if you want to achieve a better result in lobbying or advocating or going after any of your ideas, actually, you need to realize that your advocacy, your presence of being active is on a couple of levels, and I went through all of them. I started as a blind activist, as a young researcher who saw how hard and how different it is to be a young researcher versus not so young and even old researcher. And I started from a couple of fields, so I really do know and understand how hard it is actually to start from the grassroots levels. And currently I have been engaged with advocacy and change making in the United Nations ecosystem for nearly 4 years, actually. Wow, 4 years. 4 years. First, I was youth delegate of my country, Bulgaria, to the United Nations General Assembly at 2018. And then I went on working with UNICEF, with the Secretariat, with the Youth Envoy, and a couple of other projects related with actually protecting youth activists and activists in city spaces. So you can check it out. The name of the program, it's If I Disappear. I know it sounds a bit scary, but actually it was driven by the adversities which were faced in quite a lot of countries. Actually, when I think back, we were Bulgaria with our summer protest from 2020, and how the police was beating, young people, young girls, women, young journalists, students, doctors. I mean, medical doctors, not PhD doctors. And there were activists from Belarus, from Ukraine, from Tunisia, from all across the globe, actually. And the things that I'm doing actually now with UNICEF are mainly in two areas, three when I think of it now. No, so the least amount of work that I do right now with UNICEF is actually education and quality education. The vast amount of work is actually related with psychology, because I'm a PhD in psychology. Nearly the rest of it is actually young people and children with disabilities, accessibility, and stuff like this. And I have been teaching actually accessibility and equality in several leadership programs across the globe. And so I really understand how it feels to start. You are very passionate about it. Maybe you are very angry that the change you foresee is so minimal. It's so small things need to be tweaked, and yet nobody had done nothing. And you are angry, and you are stone-faced by your anger, or you want to shout out at the world so that the people can hear you. Yes, on grassroots level, this may help. Actually, sometimes it helps a lot to attract people to listen to you. Sometimes it's very helpful to attract media attention. You know, the traditional media, the social media, different, you know, Facebook pages, groups, Twitter accounts which are following hot topics. It's helpful. Then you're going upwards, like you are working with a couple of grassroots guys, you're aware of the bigger picture all across the maybe region or the country. It really depends on how big is your country, because honestly here in Bulgaria, from the grassroots levels there are not a lot of other levels that you can actually conquer. And in this higher level that you are above or actually working with, because I don't think that when you're a grassroots activist or something like this, you're not beneath anyone. You're just working with different capacities and with uh, actually different volumes, and different equities. So the next kind of level is actually the above grassroots level. So in this level, you need to be a bit more tame, because a lot of the people who you work with are passionate and are driven by a lot of emotions, maybe positive, maybe not so positive, but you need to make those people and the information that you're getting from those people actually to work for a bigger frame, for not so little cases, as much as, you know, 10 people with disabilities there, or 15 um, I don't know, young girls or young women over there. It 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 should be coordinated in a way. And in this level, you should really think of the rationality behind it, and actually how you can scale up and how you can be proactive. Because in this level you already attracted some attention, you already attracted some people that you can work with, that trust you, that know that you're going to help them or to empower them. So in this level you have to be more dialed down. And the highest level that I see, at least now after 4 years of active advocacy on a couple of fronts, as you can see, and I might add here that for 2 years now I'm consulting UNICEF again in terms of social and behavior change. This is a very big program that they are doing. Basically, in, when everyone thought that girls shouldn't go to school, social and behavior change kicked in, and the perceptions about girls getting into schools and staying into schools changed. So this is what social and behavior change does and means. So I am doing this as a consultancy for 2 years now, and I'm consulting a couple of mental health related projects. The last year in 2020, UNICEF launched the World State Report on Youth and Children Mental Health. I worked on it with actually a couple of hundreds, maybe thousands of other specialists, and it was amazing. Like it was outrageously hard at times. It was the pressure was really big. I never did something more important than this, but the people that you can meet and the change that you are feeling you're making really pushes you and makes you fly ahead. So yeah, after 4 years of being active at this highest third level of activism, and after 2 years of consulting UNICEF, I can say that on the third level, you need to be really forward thinking, and honestly, your emotions need to be dialed down, because look, you created the urgency. You pointed at the thing which bothers you, which needs change, which needs a kind of urgency, and taking action, and stop being the talking point of everybody. You did this in the grassroots levels. Then on the next level, you actually coordinated a couple of people who are in your train of thought, that look, this problem is very big. It looks like this and this. It may be solved like this and this. And in this highest level, you need to be aware of the fact that yes, you're working with big foundations, with big money, big resources, but also we are working with actual humans who have their careers, their fights. They were, some of them, actually a lot of them, were grassroots. And a very fast lesson from me: check if your camera is running. So let's finish this bogus long video by actually saying that on this third higher level, you need to assure that there is a flow of communication between the people who were activists themselves before being the policymakers and before being the presidents of the big NGOs with the big money, the big resources, the big influencers, before being the big political guys who are taking the decisions inside of the United Nations or the European or the African Union or whatever it is, actually, or the country level. So you need to be sure that your emotions are dialed back, and that you are the medium of the flow of communication and decision-centered thinking, from both the grassroots levels, the second level which works with the grassroots, and then with the highest levels of policymakers and decision makers, or whatever it is. And this is the end of this part of the video, and as far as the previous video on the channel that you can take a look at, the whole topic of the video was actually that space and space travel is not accessible for persons with disabilities. But then a very important person for me, who I met during my time as a delegate of Bulgaria to United Nations, as a youth delegate to United Nations, his name is Dimitar. I'm going to attach his podcast. He's a student in sciences related with the space, and he actually said to me that currently we have actually a couple of developments and a couple of good news. The first good news was that previously the space specialists, let's call them like this, weren't sure that persons with replacement joints or bones could safely travel at space. But then actually a person with replacement joint actually was already in space. He got back, everything was safe, secure and sound. So persons with replaced joints or bones can safely fly to the space, and we have the first person with such issues. Actually, he went to the space and went back. The second point that I raised was that there is a lot of inaccessibility, and nobody is thinking about making the grounds and the facilities, the ships, actually accessible for persons with different disabilities. And actually Dimitar told me, and actually he sent me a couple of materials that I read through, that are actually talking about the safety on the workplace, on the space facilities, on the rocket facilities, because previously they were quite dangerous for even the personnel who can see and who is with no disabilities, who was working at those spaces and those facilities. And recently they are quite safer, and a lot of precautions are constantly being taken for the safest access to all possible points of the launch spaces, of the training facilities and everything else. So we have good news on this front, and I'm very happy that Dimitar proved me wrong, that no, actually the different space agencies and companies are thinking about the accessibility. And why I'm so happy? Well, I'm so happy because as I told you in the last video, here on Earth we build quite a lot of inaccessibility, and we don't need to move this inaccessibility to space. So I am happy that a lot of other people are on the same page and are thinking the same thing as me. So thank you for the support. Please like and share, and share your thoughts, and subscribe and like and share and subscribe and share and like and like.